So I recently saw this video by I think it was Salty Trico. I'm gonna try and link it if I remember to. I should remember to. It's otherwise very rude if I don't, because this idea is stolen. I saw him go over this game rant. I saw like the first little bit of it and I thought, wow, I have opinions on competitive Pokemon. I play this. So I'm gonna be going through this list, let you know what I agree with, what I disagree with, and then we'll go into I'll give like um my own little best offensive Pokemon of X type. They do say that this is for Gen 9 singles, so I'll be taking that into account. And no legendaries or mythicals. I do not know if this is excluding the Paradox Mons. So if, for say, a Paradox Mon happens to be my pick for the best offensive Mon, or let's say a legendary, just like a legendary in the OU tier happens to be like a Mon that I would say is the best Gen 9 Mon, looking at its offensive potential, then I'll give like a non-legendary suggestion. It's a little vague what offensive means, because like with offense you got like two or three different types. You got sweepers, breakers, and then like mons that are like in between. So for me, like sweepers kind of include like Iron Valiant, King Gambit to a degree, but it kind of fits in both places. Certain Pult sets, certain like Raging Bolt, Roaring Moon, and then like breakers like Samurott and Meowscarada. It's really confusing, so I'll just be considering like if I'm going for damage and don't care if I have to set up or attack, what would be the best thing, and I'll give like some other thought processes. Anyways, onto the list, and I already am in pain. Number 18. I'm gonna assume that this is not a tier list. This is just them listing the types, I assume. Slaking? Slaking! The best yeah. ZU. Yeah, no, it's not Slaking. I think like best offensive normal type in Gen 9 is Ursaluna, right? I mean, this thing is banned for a very good reason. It does so much damage with its Blood Moon attack. You can run Calm Mind. You can run you can run like Vacuum Wave to shore up like Steel types that want to try and resist it. You hit them with the Blood Moon and then they die to the follow-up Vacuum Wave. This thing is just like super oppressive. There's a reason why it's banned. But looking at unbanned mons, I really am not 100% sure. We don't really have the best normal types. I think it would have to go to Ursaluna regular. It does have like good potential in as far as like a Trick Room role goes, although Trick Room is not the best. It can break. It's bulky enough to like always trade like 1-for-1, I think, with its gut set. It's fairly strong. It's just not super versatile. So in general, best offensive normal type is nothing because they're all not the greatest. But just in general, Ursaluna, and then if I had to pick an OU mon, it'd be a regular Ursaluna, right? It's a facade set, just does way too much damage. Like I said, it's very strong. It's just hard to splash. Number 17, Breloom and oh, they're doing like this or this, so they're like copping out. Breloom feels like old gen bias. Like it's a good mon, but it's not, in my opinion, the greatest, especially with the lack of Spore. Pre-Sport, you had a reason to use Breloom over like some of the other mons, strictly because of sleep. But post sleep ban, there's just no reason to run Breloom at all. And Executor should not be here. It is not a good Pokemon by any stretch of the imagination. It's just bad, and I love Executor. Best grass type is a kind of a toss-up for me. I mean, it's between the three grass types in the tier, right? Ogerpon, Rillaboom, and Meowscarada. Ogerpon's good for like late game not like game breaking, but like just breaking in general. Like Terra Water gives you like a nice little defensive option. It's very good. Like its bulk is extremely nice, especially for such a strong mon that gets a Spidef raise anyways. Like 80, 84, 96 on an offensive mon is insane. But if we're ignoring, I mean, even ignoring that, I think the best like grass type offensively, in my opinion, that does what a grass type does. I mean, it's between Rillaboom and Meowscarada, but I do think Meowscarada is a little bit more consistent as a Pokemon. Flower Chick is just really, really strong. It gets past like Dondozo. It has its like trade-offs, obviously. Like Rillaboom can set up the terrain and combo like really nicely with Pokemon that either like want to be neutral to Earthquake, which is honestly not the greatest reason to run grassy terrain anymore, because like the premier ground type attackers do not run Earthquake. You got like Headlong Rush and Earth Power from these two guys. Ting Lu does run Earthquake, but it also runs Whirlwind, so you're just never beating that. But Meowscarada has Flower Trick, has a Stab knockoff, and it can change its type. So for example, like the dragon types that are absolutely everywhere that want to or the dragon or the Corviknight that wants to come in and resist the grass type attacks will have to be in fear of the triple axle. Corviknight can get hit with a Stab knockoff, and then your helmet's gone, and you're just like, you still check this thing, but you don't check it as well. Going like Thunder Punch, I've seen that running around a little bit. Like this, you can run Scarf, Boots, whatever. Meowscarada is just super, super versatile. It's an OU, and I think it's an OU solidly. Like, of the grass types, I think Rillaboom has the greatest potential to fall to UU. Just because it just feels like not the greatest right now. Just because of how many grass types, or dragon types and like Terra Flying it's hitting into. I would just like always rather have just a Meowscarada and say that I'll like have to have priority elsewhere. Okay, for bug type we got Scizor and Volcarona. Yeah, wow, they listed the two best, the only two good bug types. Now we do have like some better bugs this generation, but they're not used because of their power. They're used because of like Sticky Web primarily. Cleavor is not good, Slitherwing is not good, Yanmega is not good. Like these all have like niches. Like you could say like, whoa, big damage, but like they're not like really. You would always rather just have a more consistent mon in their place. Between Scizor and Volcarona, I think it's very, very easily Volcarona. I mean, this mon is banned. It's the best Quiver Dance user. It's been strong in every generation, and now it's just bolstered by Terra. Just +1/+1/+1 with Flame Body is just insane. So like, generally, if you're killing a Volcarona, you have to use like a physical attack. And if you use a physical attack, you have a chance to get punished and burned, which is extremely awful. Like Volcarona will always, at worst, I think Volcarona should always trade for 2 mons, or like 1 mon and a burn on another. Lokix is like fairly strong, but it's not good in OU. I think I would always rather use Scizor because its priority isn't quad resisted by Iron Vow. Can at least like force it to extend to Terra or whatever. I mean, like, first impression is fine to like kind of late game pressure King Gambit, so it's not awful. Like you could use worse mons, but just nothing. Yeah, Volcarona definitely the best bug type. Finally, some good opinions. Fire type. Why is Flareon or Chandelure here? The small yet mighty Flareon is a formidable foe in Pokemon combat, sporting a max attack score of. They have never watched a False Swipe gaming video. Brother, have you heard of the Rampardos theorem? You wanna know what happens to high attack mons? ZU. This bitch is in ZU. Never used. Hoop Unbound? Got big ass attack stat. RUBL. Like, that big attack is not the entire story. You need defensive stats, or like, you need to be so strong and so fast that nothing can ever punish you. And that's just not the case with either Chandelure or Flareon. But like, I didn't even need to say that that's not the case with Flareon. This bitch has never showed up in OU a single day. As far as offensive fires go, Volcarona easily takes the cake. But if we're looking at OU fire types, I think the cake goes to Iron Moth. Like, it's, I mean, Ceruledge and like Blaziken, the RUBL mons, are like fairly strong in their roles, but they're not consistent, right? Like, Blaziken's never breaking through like an Alola, for example. It's just never gonna happen. You have to expend like Terra, and then you get killed by Sucker Punch. Ceruledge is like, I don't know, it's hard to get going because its speed boost is not like automatic, so you need to like sit for several turns, hope that you get hit physically, and if you just don't, then you have a slow Ceruledge. And there's mons that beat you, right? Like, if you put enough bulk into like a Great Tusk, for example, Ceruledge needs to Terra. Like, I'm not saying that they're not bad mons or they don't have like sweeping potential, but they're just not as consistent to me as Iron Moth, because Iron Moth has speed, it can boost its stats, it'll always like punch holes through a team, unless like you play fucking horribly with it. It's weakened to Dracopult, but that's kind of like the thing with all the fires, like except for Ceruledge, they're all weak. Heatran's not really offensive. Moltres and Cinderace are also not very offensive, although you can make an argument that Cinderace is the better offensive fire type because of its utility, but I'd say it's probably just Iron Moth, right? Electric type, Electivire, Magnezone. Dude, who made this? A 2-year-old? What do you mean, Electivire? This is not a good mon. This has been OU one time, and that's because of favoritism. Literally because of favoritism. This thing does nothing. No, it's not Electivire. It is. Look at me, I'm typing out Electivire instead of electric. It's Raging Bolt by a large margin. It has priority electric type attack, which shores up its low speed. It literally has the stat spread of Lunala. Like look at this man, right? Look at these stats, and then look at Lunala. Like, ignore the attack. Its stat spread is nearly identical, which is insane for just a regular mon. You can run like Specs, you can run Assault Vest or Booster Energy. Booster Energy basically makes this thing a King Gambit, because then it's like you have a King Gambit with 3 Fallen at any time, and that is insane. If we're ignoring legendary offensive electric types, we really don't have much. Like, I feel like electric has like very high highs and super low lows. Shit, dude. I guess like Magnezone. I guess. I mean, it's good for like trapping, but like steel trapping is not even like all that spectacular anymore. Feels like you're only really trapping Corviknight. Goldengo is literally immune to your magnet pull, so there's no point. Plus, like, I mean, this thing doesn't even beat Goldengo, right? I mean, you get to a KO'd, but like Goldengo's running like Focus Blast or literally running Terra, and then switches out, and then your Magnezone is fucking worthless. I mean, there's a reason why Magnezone is in RU, right? But yeah, I mean, I guess they had to put someone here, and they can't put a Raging Bolt, but I just put Raging Bolt. And if we can't have a Paradoxmon, like no Iron Hands or no nothing, no Zapdos, then I don't put anyone in the slot. I say that electric types are generally kind of dog shit. What the fuck is this? It has the ability to naturally learn Thunder Punch? No way. 75 base power. Insane. Water type Palafin or Gyarados. Yeah, generally I agree. I think Palafin is one of the strongest monsters to come out of Gen 9 in general. 160 base attack, it's way too hard. Has incredible coverage, goes combat, has ice moves, can run bandit, can run a bulk upset, Terra water, Terra steel, and just run everything over. However, if we're ignoring the Ubermons, it probably just goes to Samurott, right? I mean, this thing is so good at like applying pressure. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't see Samurott as an offensive mon as much as I see it as like a supporting mon. Because part of the reason why you put Samurott on the team over literally any other mon is strictly to get up spikes. So I guess in that regard, I'd probably say like Greninja is the strongest offensive water type. Primarina takes on more of a sponge role to me, although I could see an argument being made. If we're going off of the same logic, then Walking Wake doesn't apply. I think it is Greninja. It's very versatile. It's got Protein, Battle Bond. Can either sweep or break, run Scarf or run Life Orb. That has a very, very nice priority move, which catches me off guard a lot. Water Shuriken, it is deceptively strong with Terra Water. So yeah, I definitely put Greninja there. Or it's Palafin if we're considering OU Mons, and Greninja if we're not. To me. I don't know what the hell is... Dude, Glaceon should not be on a tier list that is, like, ranking the strongest Pokemon of literally anything, except for, like, maybe the strongest Mons if you were to put Glaceon into Little Cup. And even then, it might not make the top list. I don't know why Glaceon is here. It's literally Diet Kyurem. They put Excalibur there, and yeah, I mean, what more needs to be said? It was already very outrageous. 145 attack with ice, had Icicle Spear, had Icicle Crash, Glaive Rush. It had a for the most part, it had a punishment-free outrage. Like, I mean, you took more damage the next turn, but like generally you're clicking that with the intention to kill, right? So yeah, I'd say Excalibur is easily the strongest. However, if we're going off of OU again, Kyurem would not apply, although it would be Kyurem in my opinion. Weavile. I mean, Weavile is just so good. Fast stab knockoff, can remove like rocky helmets and stuff from the opponent, and then you can just clean up with triple axle. It's I think its SD set has fallen off a little bit. Right, you always want to run boots. There's just no reason not to run boots. Its SD is like a little bit weaker because like I just feel like you don't get the opportunities to SD. Although like it's not terrible. I think low kick is a little bit more consistent just into King Gambit, because King Gambit does not want to turn into a flying type into you, right? I mean, it will die. So you can always like kill it with low kick, just catch it off guard. I think that's more valuable than sweeping with Weavile, especially in a meta game with like so much priority, so much bulk. Everything can Terra to just like resist you. It's a little insane. But yeah, generally like I do kind of agree with the Excalibur placement. Rock type, Tyranitar, Rampardos. I mean, there's not really that many good rock types, right? Like, they're all pretty fucking dog shit. There's no OU rock type that is, like, offensive. I think, you can make an argument for Iron Boulder or, Ogerpon Cornerstone. Both of them, for, like, a similar reason, they have an, like, 100% accurate, strong rock type attack. Ogerpon is a little bit better as a lead, in my opinion, although, like, running Ogerpon Cornerstone, you have to, like, it has to be a hyper-specific reason, not just to run Water-type Ogerpon, because Water-type Ogerpon is just so good. Yeah, Iron Boulder, Booster Energy, like, any of the mons that have, like, Booster plus, like, high stats are inherently good, because they could spiral out of control. If they have, like, the right Terra, or get the right turn to SD, or whatever. I don't think Tyranitar is that good as an offensive rock type, compared to Iron Boulder. It does have its potential, like, there are, like, fun Bandit Tyranitar sets, but generally, I would just stick with Iron Boulder. If you're trying to just strictly run an offensive rock type, Run Iron Boulder, its cleaning potential is pretty strong. It is hit by every single form of relevant priority super effectively, so you kind of have to choose like which one. Like you're hit by Rillaboom, you're hit by King Gambit, which are like the two big guys. So you really have to choose like, are you going to lose to King Gambit or are you going to lose to Rillaboom? And I generally say losing to Rillaboom is a little bit better than losing to King Gambit. So like Terra Fight, I guess, like booster energy, Terra Fight with SDCC. It's pretty okay, but you're still walled. Like it has the same problem as as a Terrakion has, right? Terrakion was put into from King of OU to mediocre Mon because of Landorus, and now Landorus has had a huge resurgence. So, I mean, generally, like, rock types aren't even the best. Rampardo should not be here. No, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. Rhyperior is not a good Mon. And Excadrill is very situationally good. I don't think I need to say too much. The number one best offensive ground type is Great Tusk. And it's not, I mean, it's almost close, but it's really not close. If I say it's like almost close, I'm kind of just trolling. Landorus is not good because of Great Tusk. Iron Treads is not good because of Great Tusk. I mean, Great Tusk really does it all. It has the widest coverage move pool ever, which just makes its ground type attacks so much more threatening. It has Ice Spinner for Landorus, it has Knockoff, has Rapid Spin, has Close Combat. I've seen some Head Smash sets, although I do not think that they are like the most optimal. You can run Supercell Slam if you really want to. That's a fairly interesting thing. I do tend to lose to Supercell Slam. You can run like Speed Booster, Bulk Up type stuff. You can I was running Roar before. It's just like Great Tusk does so much. It's not even close. However, if we need to follow the stupid shit rules of this tier list and not include a Protomon for whatever reason, the best offensive ground type is probably between Garchomp and Excadrill. Excadrill is pretty fine, and Sand is faster than everything, but it's not like, no, it's not. It's fast, but it's not faster than everything at Adamant, which really makes it feel a lot weaker. Plus, like, Ground Steel is just not a great offensive combination, especially into Landorus. You're not really great into like a lot of the balloon users, like Goldango and King Gambit. You're kind of just infinitely walled by them. I think Garchomp is a little bit better because of its nice bulk, not weak to Great Tusk's Stab. It can live like King Gambit Sucker Punches. It is weak to Iron Valve, but like that's just the game you gotta play. Its Scale Shot set is like pretty strong. Like it almost brought it out from the grave. What the fuck is this? False Swipe, Break Dragon. What is this? What? Okay, I don't know what is going on. Steel type, I see Goldango. Yeah, no. It's between Goldango and King Gambit, right? The two cheap mons of OU. King Gambit because it's King Gambit. You literally like, if one mon dies, you have a Black Glasses boost. You have the same boost from your passive ability as you do from an item slot, which is insane. When all mons are dead, you have a choice band boost on every single attack, and you get to switch up moves. Its stats are just insane. This is unprecedented. This is like literally uber tier in almost any other generation except for Gen 9. Goldango is, 120 base power, steel type attack, 133 special attack. Good as gold, can block a lot of status moves, which gives it like so many opportunities to switch in. You can run Specs or Nasty Plot or Balloon. Really, these two mons can do it all. If any, I would like rank any two mons to be like the best offensive mons. I think those two would be extremely high, if not number one. Ignoring legendaries, although like I think King Gambit is number one. I don't think anyone would argue with that, but I could see arguments for like Zamazenta or Great Tusk being up there as well. Metagross is like okay, it's niche, it's fine. Poison type, Glamora, Gengar. Gengar, no. It's probably just goes to Iron Moth again. Same reasons as before. Poison types in general just are not the greatest though. So, like, you run Iron Moth because of its fire type attack, not its poison type attack. And Glamora, yeah, but it's more of a hazard lead in my opinion. Fighting type goes to Great Tusk or Zamazenta. Iron Val as well. There's just so many good cheap fighting types. Great Tusk I think is the more honest one. Iron Valiant is pretty strong. Zamazenta, like these two are like late game cheap mons. They will sweep you, and I mean Iron Valiant can just run so many sets. You can run the Terra Ghost Shadow Ball, you can run Terra Fairy with Thunderbolt, or I mean you can run Encore Sub, Terra Steel, you can run Physical with Terra Dark. It's just there's so much you can do. It's one of the better checks to King Gambit because you can just Encore it into Sucker Punch and then just proceed to sweep. Zamazenta, again, really good into King Gambit, so it has a lot of openings. Good because of its defense raise. It's just good as a defensive wall, but it's also like so powerful because all you need to do is get up like one iron defense. You have Roar to like stop opposing setup sweep. It's a good stopgap into most things because of its legendary status bulk. Like this is insane. This is outrageous. This much speed with this much bulk and this much attack should just like I don't know. I have problems with it being an OU. Other than that, like all the mons below are kind of niche. Keldeo has been kind of on the rise, but because of that one Blender team, but I don't think Keldeo is not as consistent as Iron Valor Zom, nor as splashable. Conkeldurr and Crabominable are not good at all. I don't know what they're doing. Flying types, I see Dragonite. I'm ignoring Braviary. No, Braviary is not a good mon. Dragonite, Enamorus, they're both very, very strong offensive options. Galarian Moltres is a little bit interesting, but not, like, great. I think it really comes down to Dragonite and Enamorus, and I think because of its, like, option to click E-Speed, Terra Normal, Dragonite utilizes its flying typing a little bit better because you don't want to click a fighting type attack into it. Enamorus, I mean, it's off the ground, so I think it being off the ground, though, is a little bit to its detriment because you can't run, like, contrary sets to deter webs, which kind of sucks for you. But it's still a very, very strong and powerful mon. But I would put Dragonite just in the number one, or in the slot above Enamorus, because it's just a little bit more splashable, a little bit more easy to use. But like again, Enamorus is very strong. It's very good. Dragon type is neither Haxorus nor Hydreigon. They're not good at all. I mean, they're fine as like for their like roles. Like Haxorus has like Mold Breaker set up, so it can beat like Dondozo in some scenarios. Hydreigon is like, I mean, strong special attack, strong Dracos, but I mean, just run Dragapult in that scenario. Speaking of, very easily goes to Dragapult. Literally the all-star of the Dragon Ghost type. Spoiler alert, Dragapult will be number one in the Ghost type. Run the Boots Pivot set with Wisp or Thunderwave, Hex Dragon Darts to support the team. Run Specs to just destroy everyone. There was a Sash set running around for a while that always got progress, which is a little insane. Run Choice Band or Choice Specs. And part of its really, really good trait is the fact that it can run two strong abilities in the current meta. Clear Body means that you will always have the fast mon into a webs matchup, and Infiltrator means that you will always be hitting stuff powerfully through screens. And before these were kind of like whatever abilities, but I think now they're like really, really valuable. I think these are almost as valuable as a booster energy because it lets you not have to run boots to ignore webs and instead run like specs. In my opinion, obviously they're not. They're very different, but you know you get the point. Ghost type, Serralege Poltergeist. No, it is Dragapult. Dragapult, I think Goldengo is kind of up there, but Dragapult is just like the all-star. It can do so much more than Goldengo. can ever hope to do. And I think like the point where Dragapult is like Dragapult has never stopped, right? It will always get progress, and I think Goldango can run into certain teams where it will not get progress, right? Like into a Team Lu, like Dragapult can just like be banded in U-turn and do like half, or be the boot set and Will-O-Wisp it, and all of a sudden Team Lu's not doing any damage. Meanwhile, Goldango is kind of like infinitely walled by that. If it is like resting Lu, like both these mons are kind of boned, but like I mean, what the fuck? A ghost type loses to a dark type with excuse me, these stats. Yeah, that's not bad. You're still doing pretty good. Psychic, Hatterene, yeah, I don't have too many quarrels with it. I think Iron Crown, you can make an argument, but I see Iron Crown more as a defensive stopgap. It's okay with its specs, and yeah, its spec set. It's good into Glamora specifically, or like Ribombee, because you can always stop it from getting too much progress. I think its booster energy set is a little bit lackluster in my opinion, although it does have like potential, right? Focus Blast, and you run like Calm Mind on booster. If you're running booster, I'd recommend running like a more defensive terror, like just run Fairy. I mean, Fairy's good. You beat like Chansey and Blissey. You beat not beat, but like you're fairly strong as Clodsire because of stab Psyshock. So you're not really too worried about that. You're kind of like infinitely walled by Goldango, but like that's just the game we play. Everything's walled by Goldango, and it happens. If you're a little afraid of Goldango, you can run Terra Water. I think that might be a little bit better because it actually does support its typing a little bit nicer. But yeah, Iron Crown's strong. Hatterene is also offensively really strong. Its Calm Mind set is insane if it gets going. That is the thing though, it needs to get going, and sometimes it just doesn't, and it feels very lackluster. I would never run Stored Power. I have run it on certain sets, but that's just because I haven't got to change it. Psychic, you're never getting enough Calm Minds to where it will ever matter. So just run the move that does like the most damage. You can run Psyshock as well, but I think generally Psychic is fine, right? Because if Blissey switches in on you, you're just getting Calm Minds up and then you're draining Kiss. If it's Calm Mind Blissey, then you take the L and just leave. Espeon is not good. Fairy type goes to Iron Valiant. Let me see if there's any other like fairy types that can even like compete. I mean, like Enamorus is strong, but it just is not as splashable, as powerful. No snowballing potential like Iron Valiant does. I mean, it's a Terra Stellar sets are like okay, but like you're clicking 100 base power like non-stab move. I'm pretty sure it's marginally weaker than just clicking Terra Fairy Moonblast. So yeah, Iron Val is just the GOAT, the LeBron James. And now we kind of got to overlap. For dark types, it's King Gambit. Like there's a lot of strong ones. I think you can make a case for like Darkrai being number 2, Roaring Moon being number 2, Weavile being number 2. I don't think Meowscarada is in the conversation, but like all these mons are like really good number 2 contenders, right? Weavile for the same reasons mentioned. Roaring Moon because of its booster energy set. It having knockoff is insane for it. Darkrai can run like, it will always do the same thing, but its simple item switch up just changes it so much. Like, do you do more damage? Do you outspeed everything? Do you get 2 turns, right? And Weavile, just a strong mon. Low kick can help you in the King Gambit matchup. Resist Sucker Punch though, can always live 1 in a pinch, assuming it's not like super boosted. Roaring Moon is strong sweeper, but I mean like the GOAT will always be King Gambit, and there's little conversation around that. Wait, is that the entire tier list? I was not even aware that we just went through every single. Wow. So yeah. Gamerant is terrible. These opinions suck. I don't know why is Alchemy even in the conversation for the greatest fairy type when I forgot midway through that we were ignoring legendary Pokemon, but I think that's a fucking stupid way to analyze things. They're just like Pokemon are more than their offensive stats, right? Like if you do not have like the typing or the utility or if you can't generate reliable progress, the fact that you have base 145 attack will never come into play, right? Like Slaking, for example, can never generate too much progress because you're always like hitting into mons that are like resisted, or even if you kill a mon, then like King Gambit just comes in, hits a cha-cha slide on your entire team, right? And yeah, I think that this is a very poor analysis. Granted, Pokemon is a somewhat hard game to analyze. From an objective standpoint, like the only good metric to analyze stuff is by by usage, right? And I think usage is a little bit deceiving because people will always use like the most versatile mons as opposed to like not generally the most strongest or the most powerful, right? There's like exceptions like King Gambit, but like Kyurem is a extremely powerful Pokemon that is not used on too many teams because it's not as splashable as a Dragapult, for example. But yeah, just want to make this little video. Again, salty Sceptile, salty Trico, whatever. I saw it and then I was like, that's interesting. Let me go find that article. Luckily, I found it. I'm not seeing the video, so likely opinions will vary. But yeah, let me actually. Do I have enough time? I will consolidate my thoughts. What did it start off with? So offensive normal type is Ursaluna, both forms. Offensive grass and bug type. Grass type I think goes to Meowscarada. Offensive bug type goes to Volcarona and goes for the fire type as well. I'm not gonna. Let me turn this. Is there a way for me to turn this into a box? No, there's not. Same for the fire. Offensive electric type is Raging Bolt. Water type is Palafin, with an argument to be made for what's his face, Jokerpon, or Greninja. Ice type is definitely Baxcalibur by such a long shot. No other ice type is even close. Rock type is not very good to begin with, but Iron Boulder is generally the better one. Ground type is easily Great Tusk. Steel type is Goldango or King Gambit. Poison type is none of them, but I'd generally suggest Iron Moth. Fighting type is between Zamazenta and Great Tusk, but I do think Zamazenta kind of ekes out above the other two because it feels like another cheat mod. Flying type, Dragonite, I agree with that. Dragon type is Dragapult, same as the Ghost type. Psychic type goes to I completely fucking forgot who. Oh yeah, Iron Crown or Hatterene. Like it's between the two, but nothing too insane. Fairy type, I'd say Iron Valiant, but I could see an argument made for Enamorus as well. And then Dark type is King Gambit by no small margin. Alright, that's the video. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching this. However much you watched of it, I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna go do what I need to do. Bye.